All right.
Knicks fans, what's popping? It's your boy. And we got a lot of things to talk about tonight, so we're gonna get to it. All right, let's we got a video chat in here. We got Isaiah, we got Viv, and you know, we're gonna talk about Hardaway and Lee being on the block. We're gonna talk about our coach's interview. So yeah, we're gonna get to it. Let's go. All right, let's go now. What's poppin', folks? And I got Isaiah in here making a whole bunch of noise, so I'm gonna put him on mute, right? Because he's in here making a whole bunch of noise as we trying to get this thing started. You know what I'm saying? I apologize for being late, ladies and gentlemen. I'm literally, to be honest with you, I'm literally just walking in the door. Just walking in the door. So I apologize for being so late. You know, as many of you know, I coach basketball, so we had a basketball game tonight. And, you know, I'm literally just walking in the door. You know, but anyway, I didn't even get to see the game. So I'm going to rely on, you know, you guys to tell me what went down with the basketball game tonight, because I didn't get the chance to see what was actually going on in tonight's game. So I'm gonna rely on you guys for that. But we got a lot of stuff to talk about anyway, right? A lot of stuff to talk about. We got Hardaway and Lee both on the block, as well as Enes Kanter, but we knew that about Kanter already. That's nothing new. Just before we came on live, we were talking about this Fizdale interview. I listened to the interview just before I got on live, and he said some things in the interview, man, that really did strike me. Right? So I want to talk about the Coach Fizdale's interview, post-game interview. Said a few things in that post-game interview, and, you know, we're going to talk about that. All right, and then, you know, we'll get a chance to talk about Knicks and Miami. All right, but let's get to it, man. Let's pull up you know, we're gonna pull up our video chat, and, you know, I just want to get a recap and some takeaways from you guys from tonight's game, because I didn't get a chance to really see it because I was at my own basketball game. But I am going to pull up some stats. I don't know if I'm going to go to NBA.com, because NBA.com, for whatever reason, has been giving me the blues. So I'm not going to go to NBA.com. I'll go to something else. Right? But I'm going to open you guys up. I'm going to rely on you guys to give me the recap of the game. Recap, takeaways, and then we're going to get to this Coach Fizdale interview. Talk a little bit about the interview. Then we'll talk about Hardaway and Lee. We'll talk about the Knicks in Miami. And, yeah, that's how we're going to do it tonight, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so here we go with the video chat. You see we got Viv. You see we got Guillermo. We see we got Isaiah. All these guys on tap. Viv, what's popping with you, my man?
What's going on, Sim? How are you doing today?
I'm good. Good,
so
give me your recap, your retake, right, of the game. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll the post game, we'll leave that later, right? So, look, the first, basically, to sum it up, you know, we had a good first quarter. You know, came out with a lot of energy. You know, we were very active on the defensive end. We scored a lot of points. Obviously, you know, Frank Ntilikina, he started off really well in the first quarter, and then what happened was he picked up two fouls right around like the 3-minute mark or so. And then ever since then, the game just really slowly slipped away from us. And, you know, we scored 37 points in the first quarter, and all of a sudden we scored, 62 in the next 3 quarters?
Right.
And, you know, we missed a lot of shots. Except for, I'll go into it later. We missed a lot of shots in general. We settled for a lot of bad shots. We got out-muscled on the defensive glass. Wasn't even funny. We got out-rebounded by 27. And, you know, we only had 27 total defensive rebounds. So just, you know, that's just like a ludicrous thing. And, you know, it just blows my mind how we got out-rebounded that much. but I mean, the Nets had 18 offensive rebounds.
Wow.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, I'll let you go into the box score. I have Yahoo open right now, but I'll just say this. Ed Davis had 16 rebounds, of which 7 of them are on the offensive glass. And part of that was that most of us are big men, or quote-unquote big men, outside of maybe Noah Vonleh, just didn't box out. Knox was having a hard time boxing out. Mitchell Robinson was having a hard time boxing out. Kevin Knox, hard time boxing out. Lance Thomas, hard time boxing out. Mm-hmm. And that was just like that was a real problem. And after the first quarter, it seemed like what we saw as Trey Burke came in for Frank. He got a lot of buckets, but what happened was a lot of the ball movement that Frank started off with earlier in the game, it didn't really carry forward with Burke leading the helm. And I think Frank got himself in trouble over the course of the game with just a lot of foul trouble. Some of it were dumb fouls. Some of it were, he got gypped by the refs a little bit. So, I think if you really want to sum up why we lost, we got out-hustled. We got, outworked, and we just settled for a lot of bad shots.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, Moutier's out for at least 2 weeks, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm going to assume that Frank is going to continue to start over these next 2 weeks, at least the next 2 weeks. I
don't know yet. It's the reason I say that is because if he continues to get into foul trouble early on, they may just flip Burke and Frank, because I think the problem Frank has right now is that his mindset, I guess, today was in the more of the I'm coming off the bench mindset, where he has to learn how to pick and choose sometimes with, especially like committing fouls. So,
right.
Sometimes what his problem is, he's, I don't know about too aggressive per se, but he has to learn how to pick his battles a little bit better. It happened to Porzingis his first 2 seasons. It happens to a lot of players, especially those in the that are defensive oriented.
Right.
So I don't know. Maybe we'll see what happens. But I think Frank will have the job, I guess, for now. But who knows?
Yeah. Well, we're going to talk about the Fizz interview, but if we're basing it off of that interview, in my opinion, if we're basing it off of that interview, then Frank should continue to start. If we're basing it off that interview, just from some things that he said in that interview, and I am going to pull that interview up a little bit later on. But if we're basing it off of that interview, then in my opinion, he should continue to start. But let me get back around to let me get around to these guys. Guillermo, what's your take, man?
Yeah, unfortunately, I was only able to see the part of the third and the fourth quarter. But I as a guy, Vivek took the words out of my mouth. I was gonna try to bring up the comparisons between how they use the point guards with what's her name, Russell on the Nets versus how we use them. And you saw the dichotomy when Burke got in versus Russell. Now, one thing I'll say about Fizdale, congratulations to him. He sat down Cantor. I was so happy. I was so proud. Cantor needs to suffer as much as possible. I honestly, God, think that Fizdale, you could be a nice guy, but you need to have restrictions. You need to make this a meritocracy. If you want to go out and talk to the media, like what Cantor's doing, and be, excuse my language, but be a hoe for the media, you're going to sit your butt down. Like, it's enough of this crap. You're going to sit down, and if you keep going, we'll release you after the trade deadline. We'll make it tough for you. Keep playing around. I think we need to start taking a hard line with some of these characters. Now, Hardaway doesn't do it. We can say whatever, but Hardaway doesn't do this much. We were talking about this in the beginning of the year, but he did. I know him and Trier had that thing online, whatever. But that was between them. Hardaway's not coming out saying, "Hey, trade me," blah blah. And his name has come up on a trade with him. So thank you, Fizdale, for what you did. Now back to the game. The difference between, like Vivek said, man. Even when Russell's, you could call him ball dominant. What the Nets do, and mind you, they didn't have Dinwiddie. Allen came out. LeVert's not there. Hal Jefferson got hurt at the end, whatever, with the whole eye thing. But legit, when you look at that Nets team, when you see it, Sim, all they did was move around. Like, Russell may be ball dominant, and he chooses spots when to go ISO, when to shoot. But every time I see Russell, he's dribbling, waiting somebody get open. He makes the hockey pass. He dumps it. He moves around.
Right.
This team literally, when Burt got in, is like, yes, he scored 20-some points, but the offense becomes so stagnant. There's one sequence in the fourth quarter where literally, and it's minor, but it's the epitome of the Knicks. He was driving to the basket, to his left, and Dodson's literally there, and they almost run into each other. And it speaks to like the lack of just a system. I know we keep talking about this, but there's literally no system. If we're playing like the LeBron James system, where literally one guy takes the ball, there might be a high pick and roll, and all the guys on the perimeter just stay there. We don't have those type of plays. And I'm just amazed that a guy like Ken Atkinson can get the Nets. I know they're 27-23, but they're looking at the players right now, and he could get those guys to score 72 points off the bench. That means a bunch of guys are moving in motion. Guys are setting picks. Guys are making themselves dangerous in space. We're not doing that. We're selling for bad shots. We're just ISO. And I feel like Fizdale, he's just poorly developing our point guards. Yes, you make them better at finishing at the rim like Moutier, blah, blah. But that's not the only point to basketball. Your point guard, if you're going to make a point guard centric, like everybody was scared that Mark Jackson was going to do, you got to make other guys move around to make them effective. And I keep harking back to this, and I know I keep talking about Frank, but look at how Frank played with KP last year. And that pick and pop and the pick and roll with guys moving, it was effective. KP was a borderline MVP before he got hurt. And I think Fizdale needs to take a book, not necessarily out of the triangle, but take a book out of what Ken Atkinson was doing. Why is it that their bench scored 72 points against the Knicks? I know what's his name was out, a big man, Cornette was out, can't play, but it's not like those guys are good defensively anyway. So it's like he needs to take a book out of these guys and say, look, what I'm doing, let me throw it out. And let me see how he's getting their role players. At the very least, their role players more effective in the game, man.
Yeah. I get it, man. I get it. Now, I was listening to that interview. We're going to talk about that interview in a minute. I don't know if I'm going to be able to bring it up. But, he's talking more about using guys in situations that he would use, how he would use them in the future, right? He brought that up when he was talking about Cantor. Do you think we're going to start to see anything different right now? Going forward, since he's kind of declared that it's going to be, he's really looking at going forward in the way that they want to play, and he kind of really, we'll get to it. Actually, before we get to that question, Isaiah, let me hear you. Let me hear you first, Isaiah, and then we'll get to that question. Go ahead.
Yeah. Let me just piggyback on Grandma and Viv. I think the first quarter was one of the best quarters Frank ever played, as far as running the point position. There was defense, there was intensity, there was ball movement. To me, that's a little glimpse of what Frank can be when we get a good team around us and better players around us. The defensive intensity was there, the passing was there, the ball movement was there, and then like Viv said, once Frank, and I think he moved a little bit when it came to being aggressive, and he'll get better when it comes to picking his battles and learning when to let his man beat him and when to let be aggressive, because that's just the name of the game. You're not going to win every battle,
right?
But you want to win the war. Mm-hmm. So Frank will learn. Frank will learn. I'm not worried about Frank. Like I said, Frank played a great quarter. And then like Grandma said, when Trey Burke got in, Trey Burke scored 25 points, but the ball movement stopped. There wasn't no rhythm. There wasn't any ball movement. He scored a lot of points. That's cool. What do you want? You want ball movement, defense, and hey, listen, I like Shabazz Napier, UConn all day, but Jesus Christ, it's Shabazz Napier. He can't let Shabazz Napier beat you. I'm sorry. Again, it's just Fizdale got out coaching. I will say this, and I know we're hyping up this interview, but let me say this will be the last honor to the media as Fizdale was. He was brutally honest, and this will be the last time you see an interview like.
Yeah. He was brutally honest in that interview, And you know, there is a lot to be said about that interview. I think I don't think we're hyping it up. You know what I'm saying? I know you said you know, we're hyping it up a little bit. I don't think we're hyping it up. I think that there's a lot. I think he said a lot in that interview that I think he just said a lot in that interview. Grandma, I see you about to say something. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say I will, and guys might not agree with me right away. I think having Cantor out and having Mitch, I know Frank got in some foul trouble, but I did see spurts. Now the Knicks do have a dumb defense, but I did see a lot better energy. Now there's an article on Knicks, is it Knicks? Mm-hmm. And it broke down how bad Cantor is on defense, how it affects the rest of the team, and how guys have to overcompensate sometimes to get into foul trouble, blah, blah. You should check it out soon. I'll post it on the video. But, you know, with Mitch there, yes, Mitch does have – he had one bad, terrible foul. He fouled Eddie Davis as he was dunking. But the thing about Mitch is that he's so energy, right? And he's such a big body that you have to account for it. So I think that when him and Frank start playing a little bit more together, a lot better synergy with that pick and roll. And I think that Frank can – maybe not going to be the top defensive – again. But I think when people say that Frank is getting fouled, I think he's trying to overcompensate because the team is so inept, right? But it's also because they haven't really this lineup hasn't really played together because Cantor's been playing so many minutes. So again, and that's why I don't want to kill Fizdale yet. I'm gonna wait till the second half. And once that second half is, you know, once these guys really can't move or whatever, you can't make the trades, I think you're gonna see maybe not necessarily smart defense, but defense.
Okay.
And you saw spurts of it in this game, but you know, just I like the Frank and I like the Mitch combination.
Yeah, yeah. You know, just talking a little bit about, and I see I got someone calling in. Just give me a second, callers. Just going a little. Well, it looks like they hung up, but just going a little bit into.
Who was it? Tim Hardaway Jr.
It might have been Tim Hardaway Jr. He's coming on to defend his $18 million. Just getting a little bit into.
Sim, your phone is like breaking up. Your phone's like breaking up.
I'm breaking up. Yeah. You know what? I don't know. I don't know what's up. Can you hear me? You good?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
I can hear you now. Who's Mark?
Yeah, but who's Mark? But you know, just talking about this interview a little bit, right? And actually, well, you know, just talking about the interview a little bit. I just think there were a lot of things in that interview that was said that was very revealing to me, right? First,
we could,
you know, the first thing with Enes Kanter, I think that he revealed a lot when he said, you know, he's playing for the future, and you know, they're looking to play a style that is more mobile. I don't know. I mean, if you had a chance to look at the video I put out yesterday, I kind of alluded to it in there because Kanter asked the question, why is he not considered part of the future? Because he's a young guy, right? And I mean, the answer is pretty simple. The Knicks are looking to play a different style of basketball that Kanter doesn't fit. Kanter is an antiquated center in today's NBA. Right, he's an antiquated center. You know, he's a back to the basket post up guy, right? And the NBA doesn't play.
It doesn't play any defense.
Right, the NBA. Right, the NBA doesn't play that way anymore. And Fizdale basically, I mean, he basically just put it out there. He's not part of the future at all. He said, you know, we're preparing for the future. And if you're preparing for the future, and if he's preparing for the future, then he's got to start putting guys in positions to succeed, to putting these guys in a position that they'll play in the future. Right? Basically, he just basically said Kanter is not part of the future of this team, which we all knew that. That's nothing that's new. I mean, but he just put it out there. Kanter is not part of the future of the team. I don't know how else to say it. You know what I mean? We all know that. With Hardaway, I think he let some things out with Hardaway as well. That Hardaway basically is only the future of the team because of his contract. Right? He said, you know what did he say? And I'm paraphrasing here, but he said, Hardaway makes $18 million a year for the next 2 years, which makes him part of this team from that standpoint. I don't know. Fizz just says a lot that he talks too much. He says too much. He lets too much out the bag. Right? What do you guys think about that?
That's Fizz.
Wait, can I go first?
Yeah, go ahead, Isaiah.
Yep, come on.
So, like I said before, man, this is going to be probably the last time you hear a coach be this honest and this straightforward about anything for a while. You know, the Enes Kanter thing, I mean, literally everybody and their mother, we all know that. Even Kanter's not stupid. He knows he wasn't part of the future. He knows that.
Right.
The Tim Hardaway one is more, that's the more interesting part of his interview. Well, he's only part of the future because he makes $18 million. And he's pretty much here for the 2 years because he's gonna opt into his player option. He's not gonna lose $18 million. So yeah, basically he just said, to me, this is what I got from it. I got from the fact that I'm not the biggest Tim Hardaway fan, but since he's here and he's here for 2 more years and he's making $18 million, we're gonna play him. And again, and this is why, you know, me, you, and Viv were talking about it, was, listen, Fizz, stop talking. You're putting your foot in your mouth. Because in September, and like Mike, if you go on Bleacher Report, Mike, I forgot his name, Mike
Vorkunov
posted the interview in September of Fizdale saying contracts don't matter. Contracts don't matter on this team. It doesn't matter if you're making $17 million versus you're making $1 million. If you're playing hard, you're gonna play. But now Fizz just lied. He lied to us. Let's be real. He lied to us about contracts don't matter, because clearly you just said contracts matter with Tim Hardaway.
Right.
Now it's about him making $18 million, so he's playing. So now we see why we all complain about why is Moutier and Tim Hardaway out there in the last minute of the game. Why is he there for defensive? It's not about him being the quote-unquote superstar you were turning him into. You're saying he's here because he's making $18 million and we got to play him. And if I'm a player for the Knicks, I'm offended, because how can you come here saying you're gonna get me right? We're gonna keep what we kill. We're gonna do this, and that, and now you're doing this and that and that. That shows me you're a liar. You just talk a fast game. You're a car salesman, and I'm not gonna lie to you, Sim. I wouldn't want to play for a guy that's gonna lie to me. That tells me if I work hard enough and if I work my ass off that I can start, versus a kid that doesn't play defense, that literally can't. I'm not gonna want to play for you, because why don't you be honest with me? I'm big on being honest. If you can't be honest to me, then what's the point of me playing? What's gonna make me want to play my heart out for you, when you're basically telling me that even if I try my hardest, get rewarded?
Right. Yeah, I feel you. I feel you. Let me get back to the chat right quick. Let me take this phone call. Caller, you're on live with Nothing But Knicks. What's popping? Caller, you there?
I did good, Viv.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yo, you're cutting in and out.
I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear. Hey guys, you're still live. So you guys are still live. Trying to get to this. Yeah, go ahead, caller. I can hear you.
All right, my bad. Yo, this is Rick Ward from the chat.
What's going on, man?
I just about the game today. I mean, there's not much to talk to add on to what Viv and everybody else broke down. I kind of agree with. For one thing, I will say that Moutier didn't play today, so can't be the GOAT for today at least for a couple more weeks.
Right.
I did like what I saw from Frank. I pretty much always do. My only concern is that, and it's happening all year, I feel like guarding the one position, he doesn't have the foot speed, in my opinion. I feel like he's probably better suited to guard 2s and 3s.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember a couple games ago when he defended, I think, Paul George at the end of a possession, and Twitter went berserk because the stop. But when I watched that play, he fouled Paul George like 5 times with his hands, and I even posted on Twitter that like that, they let that in the span of a game. He's just gonna catch a lot of fouls. So, and that's what happened today. It's youth, and he has defensive pride, and him and Mitch suffer from that. Is that they don't know when to live and fight for another possession, but eventually you'll get that. But I'd rather see him defend 2s and 3s rather than 1s, because I feel like quick 1s give him trouble. Like Napier is giving him problems. He got a couple fouls on Napier. Trying to defend him. But aside from that, yeah, I like this floor game. And even though we got off to a fast start, I knew that was not sustainable. We actually played guys that shoot under 40% from the field. That has to be some kind of NBA record.
Right.
4 guys on the floor shoot. That's insane.
I mean, I mean, you got to play who you got. I mean, if you listen to the Fizdale interview, he talked a lot about, developing guys for the future, which is the reason why some guys aren't playing. Because, I had a question, I had this question. Cantor is not playing. He's 26 years old. He's not playing. Tim Hardaway is playing, although he is considered to be on a trading block. And my question was why, right? Why Hardaway playing and not Cantor? Not that I'm saying, Cantor needs to be in the game. It's just a question that I had. Why Hardaway and not Cantor when both of them don't look like they're going to be part of the future? And I guess Fizdale kind of answered it a little bit, not that directly, but, it's kind of like Cantor doesn't fit what we're trying to do going forward. Hardaway, I guess, because he is a guard, does fit what we're doing going forward. Not that, he's going to be the one. But he fits.
As much,
Go ahead.
Kind of answered as direct as you, when he bringing up that contract, he pretty much kind of answered it as direct as you possibly can in the media. I mean,
yeah.
Read between the lines. I was like you said, I don't want to play him, but that's how much money he's making, and we have to play him. To me, that also kind of gives me the idea that, and it kind of coincides with the way Tim's been playing. I feel like they already told Tim this a while ago.
Think so?
I mean, I don't consider Tim takes bad shots, but I never consider him a selfish player. But the last couple games or so, he's played selfishly. I mean, besides the Houston game, the second half of the Houston game, some of the stuff that he was doing in the second half of the Houston game, there's a possession where he held the ball for like 24 seconds and just kept. He attempted to take a shot and he got ripped at the end, and then it landed and knocked his hand, and Knox had to throw a 3. But he held the ball the whole time and kept trying to score, and he couldn't get past Gordon.
Right.
There was another play where he grabbed, he forced a shot, grabbed the offensive rebound. Both Trier and Dowd are waving wide open, and he forced the shot up. So I feel like he's definitely playing like. I feel like the front office must have told him that you're on the trading block, and then he's out for self right now. So hopefully they can get some deal done, because I really want to see in the second half of the season. I know most of y'all are not Moutier fans, but I'd love to see Moutier and Frank play in the backcourt more, because I don't know if you're a big advanced stats guy, but they have like the two of them combined to get playing together in the backcourt have the highest net rating of any backcourt pairing, but they have like the least. They did so a little bit in the second quarter of the Houston game, and they were rocking. So I'd like to see some of that if we can get a low Tim.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll see what happens there. Tim Hardaway. You seen him griping at Alonzo Trier the last game. They asked Tim Hardaway about what Alonzo Trier said on social media, right? And he kind of just, so he's blaming people, things like that. Tim Hardaway is probably frustrated. I think he's frustrated, man. And you're right. Maybe, he was told a while back that he's going to be on the trading block.
With that whole Trier situation, Trier's a rookie and he did something really immature, but I didn't like how Hardaway, that response that he made, the little comment about, he's blaming other people now.
Right.
You're the one that want to be the leader. You don't give the media quotes. You're like, okay, it's we play team, it's a team issue or whatever. Or you the question, you handle it inside. You got to be the bigger man. The kid's 23, 22 years old. He's going to do dumb stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's your chance to show your leadership, and he failed that test right there.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Hey, my man, I appreciate you calling in. I'm gonna get around and try to get some other people to call in. All right, and
about the Mud and Frank backcourt and what you guys think about it.
Say that again.
Talk about it. Moutier and Frank backcourt. How do you guys think that would work? Just.
You know what? It might be okay. Moutier's 6'4", Frank is 6'6". Moutier can penetrate, but see, Frank doesn't knock down the outside shot. That would be my fear, right? He shoots 30% from three, 30% field goal percentage or something like that. 33% regular field goal percentage. I'm not sure how much it would work because, if you're going to you got to have someone that can spread that floor. And Frank's not it right now, at least. Frank's not it. Frank's not spreading that floor right now. So that's the issue that I see with having Frank and Moutier in that backcourt. You know what I'm saying? Frank doesn't spread the floor that way. I want to know from you guys, though. And speaking about Fizdale, does he say too much? I just want to know. Do you think he says too much? Does he need to, quiet his mouth down a little bit? I feel like when he starts talking, something, maybe he lacks a little bit of a filter. And then, things come out that, he, looks at later on and says, maybe I shouldn't have said that. Just like the comment when he was asked about Enes Kanter, and if he thinks that, the whole thing going on with Kanter, if it's going to cause a distraction, right? And he says, what are we going to do, lose? That's the wrong answer. Right? That's the wrong answer. You know why it's the wrong answer? Because you're supposed to be developing a culture. And if you're really trying to develop a culture, then maybe I get what you're saying. I understand the joke. Right? But if you're supposed to be trying to develop a culture, then, you want to limit those distractions because you don't want those distractions to become part of your culture. I don't know. I don't know. And maybe I'm off, right? Maybe I'm off. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Fizdale is doing exactly what he needs to be doing. I don't think I'm off, though, right? I think that... I think that Fizdale needs to take a little bit more tact in what he's saying and when he's saying it and how he's saying it. That's my opinion on the matter. I think that Fizdale sometimes, steps over the line with what he's saying. You know what I mean? These past few weeks, the Knicks have turned back into, I don't want to say a fiasco, but a fiasco. Maybe we're not as much of a fiasco, but we're somewhat of a fiasco the last few weeks. And I don't like it because we're supposed to be getting away from that stuff. Right? We're supposed to be trying to move away from being the laughing stock of the league. You know what I'm saying? We're supposed to be moving away from that. And it doesn't seem like we're moving away from it. Seems like we're moving back towards it. Right? Last year, if you look at the whole situation between Cantor and Hornacek, right? I'm sorry, Joakim Noah and Hornacek. It's almost like we have a duplicate situation with Cantor and David Fizdale, except it's probably not going to come to any kind of physical altercations. But it's like we're back being a laughing stock of the league, man. If anyone, looking at the Knicks, in my opinion, if anyone thinks that, a free agent is coming to New York, I don't see it, man. I'm not seeing it right now until we can prove that we're not a laughing stock in this league. And, we continue. We just don't know what we're doing. We don't know what we want to be. One moment, we got this crazy media policy so guys can't express themselves, and you got to have a handler there when you're doing interviews and all this stuff. Then the next moment, guys are, saying whatever they want to the media and doing stuff on social media and all this kind of stuff, right? And like with Cantor, I think Fizz let it get too far. He should have topped that off. He should have knocked that off, put a muzzle on him a long time ago when it first started. The first time he put a ... when he didn't play or whatever it was. He should have jumped on it then. You know what I mean? But we let it go, and now it gets to the point where he speaks out, and then he tries to backtrack. We're looking like a laughing stock again. And if you're looking like a laughing stock, my friends, free agents not going to come because they don't want to be part of a bunch of confusion. I wouldn't. You know what I mean? Who wants to be part of that? You know what I mean? Especially if you're a high-profile, big-name free agent, then, you want to, you want to make sure that you are securing your future. You want to make sure that you're going to some place that's going to be able to deal with your high-profileness, if that's what you want to say. I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel like, I thought at the beginning of the season we really were in for a change, man, but I feel like we're back to the same stuff. You know what I mean? I feel like we're back to the same stuff. Big shout out to Travis Fisher. Thank you for the super chat, man. And I don't have the super chat right now word for word, but you said something to the tune of KP is going to come in. We need more spacing on the floor. He's going to open up some shooters. I do agree with you. He probably will come in and help open up some shooters. We get shooters open sometimes. We just not knocking them down. We just, but beyond that, beyond the court stuff, I feel like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to say about it, man. I don't know what to say about it. I'm just not sure that we're on the path that they say that we're on. I get sometimes, I have faith in the front office to make competent and smart moves. I guess my gripe is with Fizdale right now, and just not knowing if Fizdale really does have a handle on things the way that he portrays it to be. I don't know if he really has a handle on things the way that he says that he does. You know, I question whether or not he has a handle on things. You know what I'm saying? And you know, the only way that we're gonna find out is to wait. It's the only way we're gonna find out. Let's talk about Hardaway and Lee. And I apologize that we lost. You know, you guys know I've been having a little bit of trouble either with NBA.com or appearing, or maybe my computer is frozen. It's cold as a mug. You know what I'm saying? Surprised you guys don't see, you know, steam coming out my mouth, you know, but so that could be a problem as well. But anyway, let's talk about Hardaway and Lee. They're on a trading block. Right, caller, can you hear me? Because you keep calling and then hanging up. So I don't know what's going on. But anyway, let's talk about Hardaway and Lee. They're on the trading block. Ready to go. Is it true about Hardaway? Is Hardaway truly on the trading block? I mean, officially, they were officially put on the trading block. Right? They were officially put on the trading block. To me, that means you got to move them, right? You got to move them. You can't put guys on a trading block and then don't move them. That's my opinion, right? Because then, you know, it comes, you know, you bring them back to the team and and I don't know. I don't know, man. Once you put a guy on a trade block, they know about it. I think you got to move them because now, I mean, I guess you can make amends, right? I guess you can make amends and say, you know what, we put you on the trading block, but now we're going to keep you, I guess. But if I'm a player, I'm going to feel some kind of way about it, right? I'm going to feel some kind of way about it, about you putting me on the trading block. I would. I would understand that it's a business, but I would still feel some kind of way about it. And you know, so my question is, can you still make it work if you decided to? I mean, I think you put him on a trader block, you got to make a move. You got to find a way to make a move. I really, you know, Courtney Lee, maybe it's a little bit different. Courtney Lee is a little bit more mature. He gets it. And maybe with Courtney Lee, you can get away, right? You can, you know, you can say, you know what, we had you on a trading block. We were trying to get you in a good situation, whatever it is. You know, you know, you're 32 years old. We was trying to get you in a place where you can actually play, you know, because of the direction that we're going in. And he'd probably accept it. I think he would. He'd probably accept it. Hardaway, and then, you know, if you couldn't make a trade, you bring him back, I think he could accept it. Hardaway, I don't know. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if he would accept it or could accept it or want to accept it. So I think now, you know, you let it out there. If you put him out there officially, like you put it out there officially, you told teams, you said, yes, Hardaway and Courtney Lee are available. You make a move, man. You got to make a move on it. You got to make a move on it. So, we'll see if it happens, right? Obviously, you know, I see people saying in the chat, talking about the Indiana Pacers. Yeah. The Pacers, obviously, you know, that they have an availability and, I mean, a need for a shooting guard. Is Hardaway the guy? I'm sure when they're looking for a player, they're not just going to be looking for someone that's going to fit for the remainder of this season. If it was me, I wouldn't be. I'd be looking for someone that I'm going to be able to use later on. Will they be able to use Hardaway later on next year when Oladipo is back? What happens with Hardaway? What happens then? Right? So I think you got to, we got to look at that a little bit too, because I don't think it's just as simple as saying, yeah, we can, let's fit Hardaway in there, right? Let's he can suit up instead of Oladipo, because Oladipo is out. You got, the Pacers are going to be looking, they're a well-run organization, so they're going to be looking to bring in someone that they're going to be able to use along with Oladipo in the future. Unless they look at Hardaway and say, okay, we can bring him in now, but next year he'll come off the bench behind Oladipo, right? That's possible. I think that's possible. I can see the Pacers. You know what? Without Oladipo, they miss that star power. They're missing that star power. Hardaway doesn't bring star power. He's not a star, but he does bring more cachet, a little bit more cachet, a little bit more confidence, at least, than Courtney Lee. A little bit more swagger, I should say, than Courtney Lee. He does bring that. Right, but if they make a move for someone like Courtney Lee, then it's easier when Oladipo comes back, if they still have Courtney Lee, to bring Courtney Lee off the bench than it is to bring Hardaway off the bench. It's just easy. I mean, the coach can do what he wants, but it's easier in terms of, the player wants, complaining and all that kind of garbage. Right. So, we'll see how this floats out. The Pacers might have interest in Aaron Gordon as well. Right. And Sean, you're right. You say, Sim, that's their business on what they want to do with Tim. What I'm saying is, are the Pacers really an option? Right? I mean, I'm sure they probably are thinking and maybe thinking about Tim Hardaway, but will they really do it? That's what I'm saying there. When I'm bringing up that scenario, that's all I'm saying there. Would they really consider Tim Hardaway because of, the future? Right? Where else? I mean, but there's obviously a need there. They obviously have a need for Tim Hardaway. Joe Corey, you say now Conley is a contract I can't see move due to aging history. Okay. I thought you were saying something about Mike Conley coming here. No, I don't want to deal with Mike Conley's contract. It's got a crazy contract. So please, let's not brush up anything. I don't want to see Conley come here. He's not going to be the point guard of the future. He's, 30 years old or whatever he is. I don't want to touch Mike Conley. I don't want to touch his contract, right? We should be looking to free cap space for 2019 as well as 2020, even though we may not pull down we may not get a draft pick. Let's make ourselves more flexible. The Prince, you say, what about the Pistons? I'm not sure the Pistons situation, and what they need. You know what I'm saying? And what they need. I know, I see stuff going around, about Blake Griffin, right? Possibly, maybe. I'm sure there's a lot of talk going on. Let's put it like this. I was one of the people that thought that the Knicks were going to be quiet at the trade deadline. Turns out the Knicks are going to be active at the trade deadline. We're having a fire sale. Look, I'm telling you the truth. If not that I don't like, I think Hardaway is worth more than this, but if just to get him off the books, if the team gave me a stick of gum, even if it's gum that I don't like, I'll go ahead and trade him. I'll get a gum to somebody else. I'll go ahead and move him just to get that $18 million off the books. I seen somebody say, Sim, what about Courtney Lee and Hardaway for Mike Conley? in my opinion, that would not happen. First of all, I don't want Mike Conley, even if it's for those two. I know the salaries would match up, but then, you know, we're not doing what we need to do in freeing up cap space. So it really wouldn't make sense for us, because I don't think Mike Conley is going to be our future point guard. I love Mike Conley. And if we had a team that was on the cusp of being, you know, contending in the East, then I'd say, yeah, get Mike Conley, because we need that kind of a point guard. Trust me, I really do like Mike Conley. Right? I won it a couple years ago. I thought, you know, when Mike Conley was on the free agent market, I knew we didn't have a chance, but I thought that he would have been perfect in New York. Right? But Hardaway and Lee for Mike Conley, it doesn't make sense for either team, because both teams, you know, the Memphis Grizzlies looking to move Mike Conley so that they can clear themselves up of his contract, right? So that they can play around in free agency the next couple of years. The Knicks obviously are looking to free themselves up of Hardaway and Lee's contract so that we can have money in the upcoming, years in free agency. So I don't see that happening at all. It doesn't make any sense to me. Right? The Knicks are going to be looking to pull in expiring contracts. Maybe you don't get the full $18 million in an expiring contract for Tim Hardaway Jr. Maybe you only, maybe you can only get 12, and then, another player has a $6 million contract for, the next 2 years or something like that. But then you clean off $12 million off the books. Something like that. The Knicks are going to be looking to clear off money off the books. You know what I mean? And that's the way to go about doing it. Can we clear off both of them? I don't know. But if Scott Perry can pull that off, people can say what they want. He probably deserves general manager of the year if he can pull that off. Right? If he can clear off Courtney Lee's $12 million, he can clear off Tim Hardaway's $12 million to $18 million to give us $30 million on top of what we're supposed to have in free agency, meaning we have $65 million, something like that in free agency this year. If he could do that, give that man general manager of the year. If he could do that. Because that would be that'd be big dog stuff right there. I think that would be big dog stuff. I don't think that's gonna happen. Not at all. I don't think that's gonna happen. But I can wish for it. I can hope for it. B-Baller for real, you said it's a pipe dream. Yeah, it probably is a pipe dream. Probably is a pipe dream. But hey, you never know what can happen. You never know what can happen. Right? And not to mention, Cantor is, the Knicks are looking to trade 3 of the biggest contracts in Cantor. Well, Cantor's going to come off the books this year anyway, but Cantor, Hardaway, and Courtney Lee looking to move to 3 of the biggest contracts. All right, 3 of the biggest contracts. And I'm interested to see what happens in the next week and a half. See what Perry can do in the next week and a half. We'll see what he's made of. We'll see what he can do. Right now, let's say we move all 3 of them. Right? We move all 3 of them. Who knows what we get back? Now, you'll see more experimenting. We'll see Mitch Robinson, Luke Cornett manning that big man spot. I would think that the Knicks would probably call up Isaiah Hicks. Right? Let Isaiah Hicks get some work. If we're able to move all 3. And then, I want to see how we posture ourselves. See what we look like after the trade deadline. And, I'm going to rate what's going on after the trade deadline as well. We're gonna put a grade to that. See what Scott Perry and them guys do at the trade deadline. Because I know, they're working and they're making calls and, things are moving and rustling. So, we'll see what they can do. I see somebody says Cantor to Houston. I doubt that. Unless that's, or I mean, I don't think that's going to happen, in my opinion. Cantor is the opposite of the kind of center that Mike D'Antoni is looking for in Houston. The opposite. You know, now, I don't know. Maybe you read something. Maybe you seen something. I just doubt it. You know, to me, you know, he's the opposite of, you know, what Mike D'Antoni likes to do in Houston. You know, total opposite. So we got a busy couple of weeks, ladies and gentlemen. Busy couple of weeks. I also, you know, I just want to throw a quick reminder out there as we're, you know, check my website. Right, go to nothingbutknicks.com, and you can see pictures from the Martin Luther King Day matinee. Some nice pictures up there. All right, go ahead and check that out. You know, if you were there, I'm pretty sure there's a picture up there of you. I apologize again that the appearance, you know, the last two shows I've been having technical difficulty. And now that I'm thinking about it, you know, where my studio is, all day it's been kind of cold in the studio. And it got so cold that it's been frosted outside. And it's very cold in here. You can actually, I can see my breath. I don't know if you guys can, but I can see my breath. And I think that's what's up with my computer. I think, you know, my computer's acting a little funny because it's cold, which is why some things are not working as well together. So I apologize, and I'm gonna have, you know, next stream we're gonna be on point with it. We're gonna be back to the regular program, my friends. All right, so I apologize to everyone for things not working out the way that they usually do, but it's all good. You know what I'm saying? It's all good. We plug on, we move on anyway. We walk over any obstacle and we keep it rocking. The show must go on no matter what, no matter how. We keep doing it. You know what I'm saying? We keep doing it. 12:45 a.m. I thank you guys for being on with me. 12:45 a.m. Knicks versus Miami. I mean, is there much even to talk about? I don't even know if it's worth talking anymore about these future games. You know what I'm saying? You know, these future games coming up. Yeah, I gotta do it. I gotta do it. Right? But it's tough to talk about it, and you know what's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? You know, you probably know what the result was gonna be, especially now. I mean, we got players not playing, we got players going down, we got you know, a little bit of infighting, we got drama in the media. There's all sorts of stuff going on with the New York Knicks. We can't expect that the atmosphere is not toxic. I don't know if it's toxic like it was last year. Last year, you know, with the stuff with Melo at the beginning of the season, and then it moved, you know, at the end of the previous season, and then it moved almost into the season all summer long, and then Joe came nowhere. It just became toxic. It just became toxic. It's not toxic right now. You got some guys who are a little bit ruffled, and that's Cantor, obviously, and I feel like Tim Hardaway maybe is too. Right? A little bit ruffled. So I'm not ready to say it's toxic, but if we don't get a hold of things, it can become toxic. Yeah, stop videos, stupid videos, stop it videos, whatever you say. Yeah, it's getting close. It could become toxic if we don't get a handle on it. Get guys out of here. The guys that couldn't make it toxic, we got to get them out of here. Got to get them out of here. But it almost does make me feel like, you know, why even talk about the next game? Right? Why? You know? Well, we got to do it because we got a game coming up, and you never know what can happen. You know, just for the... I want to see the Knicks get a good win, just for the just to keep the spirits up. You know what I'm saying? You need to get a win every once in a while just to keep the spirits up. But the way things are looking, I'm telling you right now, the way things are looking, coming after the after the trade deadline, and if the team really gets blown up in this dumpster fire, like James Flatbush is saying, it really gets blown up that way. I mean, I don't know what there is to blow up. We've only won 10 games. But, you had that kind of dumpster fire to clear off cap space. I mean, we could be playing with we're really playing with G League players. You know what I'm saying? Really playing with G League players. It could be rougher. It's going to get rougher. Keep your therapist card next to you, man. So you might want to call them. It's going to get rougher. It's not going to be easy. The Knicks play the Miami Heat this Sunday, January 27th at 7:30 p.m. It's in New York. Right? We know what the Miami Heat are. They're a team that's going to come at you and they're going to play some aggressive defense. Right? Miami Heat right now, record-wise, are 23-24. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're 7th in the East. Right now, they hold that 7th spot in the playoffs. The Charlotte Hornets have the 8th spot. Remember, Kemba Walker is starting in the All-Star game. Congratulations to the Boogie Down Bronx's own Kemba Walker starting in the All-Star game this year. All right, the Charlotte Hornets are the 8th seed. The Washington Wizards are looking right outside of the Charlotte Hornets. They're 21-27, 2 games behind the Charlotte Hornets. Obviously, without John Wall, it's going to be tough for the Washington Wizards to get into that 8th spot. I don't know if there's anything that we have, that can help propel them into that 8th spot. I don't know if they'd be interested in a Moutier, to help give them some depth at that point guard spot, with John Wall going out for the season. But I do know that they're not looking to throw the season away. They still want to try to get into that 8th spot. They still want to try to get into the playoffs. I don't know if there's anything we can throw them that way. Try to bring something back. I doubt it. You're looking at the Knicks, man. We're 10-37. We're second to last in the East. The only team worse than us in the East is the Cleveland Cavaliers at 9-41. And we are the second worst team in the league. We're the second worst team in the league right now, 10-37. The Phoenix Suns are 11-40. The Memphis Grizzlies are 19-30. The Memphis Grizzlies at one point earlier in the season were on top of the Western Conference. They were on top of the Western Conference. No longer to be. They're one amongst the some of the worst teams in the league are the Memphis Grizzlies. So you can understand why they want to have a fire sale and they want to get rid of Mike Conley and Marc Gasol. They tried it with those guys and, just kind of, things just kind of ran out. But I'm going to tell you what, some team that can afford to have Mike Conley is going to pick up Mike Conley and he's going to help that team. He's going to help to elevate that team. As a matter of fact, I don't know if the Washington Wizards would look that way because then you got 2 monstrous contracts. When you talk about Mike Conley and John Wall, you got 2 monstrous contracts in there. So I doubt the Washington Wizards would look towards Mike Conley. That if they did that, that'd be crazy. If they look towards Mike Conley, that would be crazy because then you have 2 monstrous contracts. But I'm sure there's a team out there that can look and say, we can use a Mike Conley. A team that has the money. I don't know. I'd like to see him go someplace where he can have a chance to really win. Mike Conley is one of the best players in the NBA to never make the All-Star team, in my opinion. I seen somebody just ask the question whether or not I think KP is coming, is staying. I think that KP is staying. I do think that, with all the stuff going on, it probably makes KP think a little bit. Obviously, the Knicks can match anything. They can match anything. But I don't think that always means that a player is going to stay. Just because the team has the ability to match, you know, this is the NBA. A lot of things can happen. I don't think that always means strictly that player is going to stay with that team. Doesn't always mean that, in my opinion. You know, because, you know, things happen. And any team, if they see a player signs a contract with a team, they may ask, did you sign that contract just so that you can get your market value up, or do you really want to be there? Because let's be honest. If a player signs an offer to another team, and they come back to you and say, I don't want to be here, I want to be there, how smart would it be for you to then try to sign that player still? If that player does, you know, how smart would you be to match that contract? Now, maybe you try to do a sign and trade or something like that, you know, so that you get assets back. But to me, in my opinion, you'd be pretty stupid to try to force that player to stay, because you're only going to cause trouble. If that player really wants to go someplace else and he's not going to be happy with you and your team, what's the point in having him there? It's just going to end up being drama, right? It's just going to end up being drama. So that's why I say when people, you know, people like to throw out and say, well, you know, KP, the Knicks can match anything that any team offers KP. I get it. I understand it. And they're totally correct. But it doesn't mean that player still wouldn't go. Still, you know, it doesn't mean that player is definitely coming back. Because all that player has to say, in my opinion, I don't want to be here. I'm not going to be happy here. I'd rather go someplace else. And any smart team would probably say, okay, we'll either let them match, or we'll try to do a sign and trade so we can get contract, so we can get assets back, or whatever it is. Because if not, then you're starting a toxic situation. You're feeding into what could potentially be a toxic situation, right? So, you know, that's the way that I see. Now, do I think KP is going to do that? I think he might, you know, however it works out, he could go out there and test the waters, and maybe he does sign an offer sheet, right? I don't know if he did sign an offer sheet. I don't know if that offer sheet is going to mean that I definitely want to go to this team. It might just to be, you know, so he can see what his market value is, and the Knicks can see what his market value is, and his team and all that kind of stuff. I think KP's coming back to New York. I hope that he comes back and plays this year. I want to see him on the floor. I think he needs to be on the floor, but I think KP is coming back to New York. All right, so I don't think, I mean, is there something to worry about? Of course. You let a player get out there and talk to teams, there could be stuff to worry about. You know what I mean? Especially if a team like San Antonio gets to his ears. Yeah. But ladies and gentlemen, it's 1 o'clock in the morning, man. I'm going to head off. You know, it's been a long day. You know, I've been, you know, at basketball games since, you know, like 4 o'clock today. It's been a long day. So I'm going to head off. I see someone calling. I'm going to try to take this last call, see what's going on, see if we can get through. Caller, can you hear me? Caller, can't hear me. All right. Doesn't seem like the caller can hear me. Anyway, I'm going to head off, folks. And you know what? You know, I might jump on. I might get everything right and jump on tomorrow night or sometime tomorrow, maybe during the day or whatever it is, just so I can get a good talk with the, you know, with the phone lines and the appearing and everything. You know, I don't like, listen, I'm kind of like a perfectionist a little bit, guys. When things mess up with me, it bothers me. When I don't do things the way that I want to do it, it bothers me. And I feel like I got to get it back. That's why, you know, that's how I played basketball too. If I made a mistake, man, you know, I had to go back. I had to get it back. I had to get it back. If I turned the ball over, I had to get it back. If I missed a shot that I should have made, I had to get it back. That's just the way that I was. So, you know, if I get everything, you know, see what's popping off. I really do think it's the cold. You know what I'm saying? Then, you know, I'll jump on tomorrow night for maybe a half hour to an hour or something like that. But you'll definitely see me on Sunday. All right. Without a doubt, as the Knicks play the Miami Heat. Other than that, I'm logging off, folks. And I will talk to you guys probably tomorrow. Probably going to jump on tomorrow night. Even if it's very short, I'll jump on. All right? So, be peaceful. Have a great weekend. And I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.